Shalom, and welcome to The Bible Comes to Life. Join us as we explore the stories of the Bible and experience them where they actually happen in the land of Israel. I'm Omer Eshel. Today we will talk about the encounter between David and Saul up on the high hills of Gedi, and about the actual moment when Saul finally understood that his kingdom is being taken away from him and being given to David. Gedi is a beautiful oasis, one of the largest oases in the entire Judean desert, located about an hour-and-a-half drive southeast of Jerusalem. It is also known as one of the most beautiful places in Israel, and actually one of the most beautiful places in the entire East. Queen Cleopatra called it heaven on earth. In 1 Samuel chapter 23, we read, "When David knew that Saul plotted evil against him, he said to Abiathar the priest, 'Bring the ephod here.' Then David said, 'O Lord God of Israel, your servant has certainly heard that Saul seeks to come to Keilah to destroy the city for my sake.' So David and his men, about 600, arose and departed from Keilah, and went wherever they could go. Then it was told Saul that David had escaped from Keilah. Then David went up from there and dwelled in the strongholds at En-Gedi." When we look at the map, Keilah is actually situated on the east side of Hebron Hills, which overlooks En-Gedi. The hills are very close to En-Gedi, but the way to get there is quite difficult. So we understand that David was fleeing from his home of Hebron, his capital, to the stronghold of En-Gedi, which was not so far from him, but was also not easy for him to get to. When we read stronghold of En-Gedi, we might think of something that looks like a castle. But actually, En-Gedi is an oasis and also a canyon. When the Bible speaks about a stronghold, it is actually referring to the natural topography of the oasis. You have cliffs on both sides with natural caves in which people seek refuge. You have no problem with finding water because you are in an oasis with natural waterfall. You have no problem finding food because you have many animals who come to the oasis for water and food. In fact, En-Gedi in Hebrew means spring of the goats or spring of the ibex. Let's continue in 1 Samuel chapter 24. Now it happened, when Saul had returned from following the Philistines, that it was told him, saying, 'Take note, David is in the wilderness of En-Gedi.' Then Saul took 3,000 chosen men from all Israel and went to seek David and his men on the rocks of the wild goats." One of the most epic moments of the Bible is when David finally meets Saul at the cave. Continuing in 1 Samuel 24, David also arose afterwards, went out of the cave, and called out to Saul, saying, "My lord the king!" And when Saul looked behind him, David stooped with his face to the earth and bowed down. And David said to Saul, "Why do you listen to the word of men who say, 'Indeed, David seeks your harm'? Look, this day your eyes have seen that the Lord delivered you today into my hands in the cave. And someone urged me to kill you, but my eye spared you. And I said, I will not stretch out my hand against my Lord, for he is the Lord's anointed. Let the Lord judge between you and me, and let the Lord avenge me on you." So it was, when David had finished speaking these words to Saul, that Saul said, "Is this your voice, my son David?" And Saul lifted up his voice and wept. Then he said to David, "You are more righteous than I, for you have rewarded me with good, whereas I have rewarded you with evil. And you have shown me this day how you have dealt well with me. For when the Lord delivered me into your hand, you did not kill me. And now I know indeed that you shall surely be king, and that the kingdom of Israel shall be established in your hands. So chapter 24 explained to us how the kingdom was torn from Saul and his sons and given away to David and the house of David to rule over Judea and Israel. The most amazing thing about Gedi is that the topography hasn't changed in 3,000 years. So today, when you go to Gedi, you will see the same wild goats, the ibex, which the state of Israel brought from the edge of extinction in the 20th century. You will be able to go to one of the caves and experience that magnificent, dramatic moment of Saul weeping in front of David and bowing to him and saying to him, "You shall be the next king." Only in Israel where the Bible comes to life.